Guys, and welcome back to my channel. So as you can probably tell by the title of this video, me and Callum are having a baby. I'm pregnant. I'm almost 12 weeks. So we're putting this up a little early just because we had a really cool pumpkin Halloween picture we wanted to take. And Saturday, I'm literally 12 weeks on Monday, so we're not worried or anything like that. Everything's been going really well so far, so we're not worried at all. But yeah, so it's Halloween. It's the 31st of October, which, you know, fun. All fun and games. But yeah, so I've actually been recording little snippets throughout my pregnancy to show you guys how things have been going. Right now I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling happy that my family is now, the rest of my family and all my friends and that have been told. Because we put a thing up, we both put things up on our Facebook pages, but a lot of them are seeing it, and at the moment I'm still getting notifications through saying like congratulations, and then a few members of our family we've got to call them and tell them, but that's not a problem. It's mostly like our older family that we need to call and tell, that just like, nope, I don't want to use Facebook. In that cat's playing with the curtain again, I could see that. But yeah, so I hope you enjoy the video. Please excuse the hair. You guys, I just took the pregnancy test and it's come out positive. I've told my sister and my mum because I wanted to double check, because I've never had a pregnancy test come up positive before. Callum doesn't even know yet. I haven't told Callum yet. He's at work at the moment, but I've texted him saying, because I was really unwell yesterday, so I texted him saying I know why I was unwell yesterday, and I'm gonna send him a picture of the pregnancy test. Definitely pregnant. I'm so excited. Okay, so it's the day after I took the pregnancy test, and it's settled in a bit more. It's still not 100% settled in my head though. It's just one of those things where it's hard to contemplate that there's this thing growing inside me. It's a difficult thing to wrap your head around, especially when you weren't expecting it. Well, I wasn't expecting it so quickly. Me and Callum have been trying, but I have a family history of a lot of fertility issues, so I thought it was going to take a lot longer than it did. So I have to try and wrap my head around it. But so far, our parents know, and they're all really excited for us, and our siblings know as well. So, which is kind of difficult to explain to a 10-year-old. So yeah, it's kind of hard to explain to a 10-year-old that she's going to be an auntie, but she seems excited enough. So I phoned the doctors because of everything that's going on. I have to phone them in the morning to speak to an actual doctor, rather than like going in and having checks and stuff done. So I'll do that tomorrow morning maybe. But I was tracking everything. Like I was tracking, I've been tracking my period and that for years, because I'm pretty regular in terms of my periods. And then when I was 2 days late, I was like, what's going on? So according to my tracking app, I'm about 4 weeks along. So it's obviously still very early days, and you guys won't be seeing this for weeks yet. But I thought it would just be interesting to track it. I mean, I've never been pregnant before, and my mum has been pregnant since I've been alive, but, pardon me, but I was only 3. Actually, I wasn't even 3, so, I obviously don't have a lot of memories of that, and anyone that's been pregnant since, I didn't really see during their pregnancy. But so far, I think the only issue I'm having is I'm so tired. I'm so tired all the time. It explains a lot, especially with my motivation issues. It explains a hell of a lot. It's quite funny actually, because I put that motivation, I'm sick of feeling like this, let's do something about it video up like a week ago, and now I know the reason I was feeling like that. So if you saw that video, when I filmed it, I was already pregnant, I just didn't know it. So that's just interesting to think about, and all the videos you guys will be seeing at the moment, it's like, it's just so strange to think that you guys won't be seeing this video for weeks. Like, obviously I'm not going to put this out until we're past like the danger point of 12 weeks, and then by that point I should have like scans and stuff to show you, so that would be quite interesting, because I could never figure out what a baby scan looked like. Oh, I sound like such a bad person, but I mean, I've seen baby scans, but early ones, I kind of look at them and I'm like, what am I looking at? And I feel like it's gonna be like Rachel from Friends when she first saw her baby scans. Callum is handling it very well. He's very excited. We actually told his dad today, and his dad kind of had a little bit of a midlife crisis, being like, oh, I'm gonna be a granddad. But yes, he was kind of like, wait, I'm gonna be a granddad? And then Callum's granddad was like, you're giving me my first great grandbaby. So it's been a day. It's been a day, and Callum's been at work. But yeah, so I figured I'd just, after this, I think I'll do them every week, rather than every day. But now that it's like settled in a bit more, I think I'm okay. Obviously, if I have any major like mental breaks or physical or anything, if like, because obviously there are certain health issues that come into play with the pregnancy, because obviously I do have depression and anxiety, and on top of that I'm hypermobile, and obviously being pregnant is going to affect my joints. So I think it's going to be interesting to record how I feel through the pregnancy. I mean, I can already feel that certain joints of mine are just a little bit off and just not quite right, and it's really weird. But yeah, so I think I'm just going to end it there. That was a little bit rambly, probably going to cut most of that out. That was very rambly, but overall I'm feeling alright, settled in a bit more. Still got a couple people I need to tell that I'm a little nervous to tell. But yeah, so that's how I'm feeling. Okay, so I've gone to my app. I'm now 5 weeks, 1 day pregnant. And it's been a little rough, honestly. I've been feeling sick. I've been being sick. And I'm so tired all the time. I'm so tired. I feel like I spend most of my day asleep, honestly. But, you know, I think things are going well. I phoned the doctors this morning and they told me to use a website to register with a midwife and that, so the process is moving on all of that, and within the next 3 weeks hopefully I will get my first appointment with the midwife. So things should be moving on that, and it should line up with the time my first scan would be due, I think, because it's about 9 weeks here in the UK when they do the first scan, I think. Oh, please excuse my face because I've been out today. I went to meet my auntie and uncle for a walk along the beach and I got sunburn, and believe it or not I had sunblock on, so you can imagine what happens if I don't wear sunblock. I think things are going well so far. I'm back at work next month, as long as we don't get a second wave or a second lockdown or anything like that here in the UK. I'm back at work next month. I just can't wait. I'm going crazy. So far everyone I've spoken to is really excited. Yeah, so that's my 5 week check-in. See you again in a week. Okay, so I'm 6 weeks and 3 days along in my pregnancy. And this by far is the worst I have felt so far. I was gonna do this, little check-in on the 6th, the first day of the 6th week, but I just didn't have time. I've had a lot going on the last couple of days, so I didn't do it. And then today, it's like currently 7:30 in the morning. Like, I'm not even coherent. So it's currently 7:30 in the morning, and lately I haven't been getting up till 10, 11 o'clock because I've just not been sleeping. I've not been feeling well. And I didn't sleep last night, to be honest. I went to bed at like 3 o'clock, so I haven't had a lot of sleep. But I've woken up feeling like trash. I feel so sick. I just feel like nothing is working in my body. My brain isn't working. I got a stuffy nose, as you can probably hear, but that isn't. If you heard that, that was probably the cat jumping out of the wardrobe. It was loud. He sleeps in Callum's wardrobe, just to clarify. He's a very strange cat. But I've got my first appointment with my midwife a week today. And it's not for a scan or anything. I'm having blood work done. And they're going to take my blood pressure and that sort of thing. And then, because of COVID and everything, they're reducing how many face-to-face visits you have. So that appointment, obviously the blood test is face-to-face. Careful. And then, yeah, so the blood test is face-to-face. And then the next appointment will be over the phone. And then at some point I will have a scan for the combined test, which is where they check for Down syndrome and a couple of others, but I can never remember what they're called. You know how people say that animals have like a sixth sense that something's going on? Well, I think the cat's finally clocked that something's going on, because last night I was laying in bed and Felix isn't one to snuggle. He was when we first got him, like he just wanted to cuddle us all the time, but he's not one to snuggle. And last night I was laying in bed and he came up to me and he actually like cuddled with me. He laid into me and he just laid there and he let me stroke him and everything. And so I think he's clocked that something's going on. He's basically been glued to me for the last few days. Because like I said, he was asleep and I came down here, I was quiet, I didn't make a lot of noise, and he would have heard me open the living room door because we keep this door shut to keep him out, because the hamster's in here. Well, she's been in here because it gets hot upstairs during the summer. I think he's actually clocked what's happening now. But yeah, so a week today I have my first midwife appointment, and then a week tomorrow I'm back at work finally, and I can't wait to have structure to my day and structure to my week. I'm hoping I'm gonna feel alright later, either later today or tomorrow or whatever. Just hopefully I'll have a few days where I feel good enough to film. But for right now, I think I'm just gonna chill out on the sofa. I was feeling really hot upstairs. Like I said, the top half of our house is warmer, which makes sense, heat rises. So I was feeling really hot, and add that into the fact that Callum is a walking radiator. I couldn't lay in bed anymore, so I came downstairs because we have a leather sofa. So this is nice and cold, and we don't have the heating on overnight because it messes with my throat, it messes with Callum's throat, and I just don't see the point. You have a duvet. Yeah, that can warm you up. That's another side effect I didn't know I was going to have. I'm really gassy. So that's fun. Yeah, so 6 weeks, things are ramping up a bit, and then 6 more weeks I'll finally be able to tell you guys and tell the rest of my family. I had a phone call with my midwife a little while ago, and I told her what I was taking, and at the time I was only taking folic acid. And she suggested I take a vitamin D supplement. So I'm taking the Nature's Aid folic acid and vitamin D3 supplement. And they're fine. They're small pills, so they're easy enough to swallow. You just got to take them with food, which is good because, you know, need to make sure I'm eating the right stuff for the baby. We have picked, not a name, like we've picked what we're calling them until we find out the sex or whatever, or we've settled on a name. So we're calling it Little Chewy because me and Callum are both Star Wars fans, and honestly the noises that are coming out of my gut is very Wookiee-esque, so we're calling it Little Chewy. The other thing that happened this week was my auntie sent me a article about pregnancy and hypermobility because I am obviously hypermobile. So I've been reading that. But yeah, so that is my 6-week check-in. I will see you guys, well, hopefully I'll actually see you in a few days so I can check in actually. No, I'll probably check in the same time this time around because I'll have my midwife appointment. So I'll probably check in at 7 weeks and 3 days. You never know, maybe I'll be wrong and I'll be not as far along as I thought I was. Because at the moment I'm going off of an app that goes off of when I got my period last. And obviously like that could be wrong. And until I get like an ultrasound or a test or something, I won't know how far along I am exactly. So, but yeah. So I will see you guys in a week. Okay, so I had my first midwife appointment today. I got my baby pack, hang on. So I got my baby pack. So this has all my information in, and obviously the more I go to see the midwife and get scans and stuff, the more full that's going to be, because this will contain all my medical stuff for the pregnancy. It was a bit of a palaver because first I couldn't do a urine sample, and then, oh, hang on, my dad texted me, sorry. And then they couldn't get blood out of me. I am notoriously difficult to get blood out of. It's like getting blood out of a stone with me. My left arm is normally better than my right, but they tried both and eventually got it out of the left. It took 3 people to get blood out of me. The first 2 couldn't find a vein initially, and then they sent me to pathology and had the professionals do it. So they were able to find a vein, obviously, and get blood out of me. So that's all being sent off to, you know, be tested, make sure I'm not anemic or anything like that, because obviously during pregnancy you can have low iron levels. Plus we'll obviously get a better idea of when I'm due, but according to my pregnancy pack, the estimated due date going off when I last had my period is the 17th of May, which is quite spooky because my uncle's birthdays are actually on the 19th of May. Obviously they're twins, but their birthdays are on the 19th of May. My granddad's is the 21st. So it's a lot of birthdays in May, especially if me and Callum end up having twins, because like I said, there's twins in my family. Callum has twin sisters. So twins might be on the table. In this little bounty pack, they sent loads, not loads, they had a few leaflets and stuff. So we've obviously got the like pregnant, typical NHS ways to help you and your baby leaflet, which I'm just going to keep in the pack and read through. And then like we've got some vouchers and stuff, so like we've got 30% off first Ocado order, which obviously helps because like you need to make sure you're eating and everything like that to keep baby growing, and even like after baby's here and stuff like that. And then on the back of this one there's a £5 off your Lidl shop, and this is just a little you and your pregnancy magazine. It's from Lidl, I'm presuming. Oh, it's by Bounty, but they did it in conjoin with Lidl because there's like information in here about Lidl products. And then there was also 50p off some Always panty liners, which obviously come in handy, especially towards the end of your pregnancy when your pelvic floor is put under strain, especially if you're hypermobile like I am. My pelvic floor isn't the best at most times, so it's definitely going to be worse when I'm further along in my pregnancy. And then in one of the things, there was this little like paper phone advertising their app, which I actually already have. So, but then the other things that were in here was some samples that they sent. So they sent samples of some panty liners, because like I said, it's difficult to hold it when you're pregnant. Not that I would know. And then they sent some Mamma Mio, the Tummy Rub Scrub and the Tummy Rub Butter. It's stretch mark prevention stuff. But, oh, and there's a 25% off voucher on the back, voucher code on the back. Which stretch marks don't really bother me. I have stretch marks anyway from where my weight has fluctuated so much over the years. And I have stretch marks on my boobs because I am rather large chested. So that sort of thing doesn't bother me anyway. And then another one we got a little single wash from Persil and Comfort. I can't actually use these. We actually use Fairy in this house because I'm allergic to everything else. Literally, I've tried every brand I can find, including all the supermarket brands. I can't use any of it. Fairy I stick to because I know it doesn't react. I react to so many different things in terms of my skin. It's ridiculous. I even reacted to the tape they used on my arm to hold the cotton ball on. Hang on, let's see if I can show you. So, I have a red mark from where the tape was now. So, I react to it so much, it's ridiculous. And then, the last trial sample, it's a trial, it's not it's a sample, whatever. So, they give you a week worth of pregnancy care, pregnant care. It's Vitabiotics. For when you're pregnant, obviously. Yeah, so they give you a week of that. I actually take folic acid and vitamin D separately, but the midwife has written a request for a prescription for a higher dose of folic acid because of my weight. So that's something I didn't know. If you're heavier, if you have a BMI over a certain number, you have to have a higher dose of folic acid. So she's written a request for that. I've got to drop it into my doctor's in a bit. I'm going to run it around there in a bit. But yeah, so I didn't know that. Something I found out while I was there, that I needed to be on a higher dose of folic acid. And obviously being pregnant, you get, in the UK at least, obviously, you get NHS, so I'm not going to have to pay for my prescriptions. Which obviously does come in handy, especially considering I'm just going back to work. I'm back to work tomorrow. So it's obviously going to come in handy that I don't have to pay for the prescriptions for the folic acid and any other medication I might need to take throughout, because I notoriously get ill a lot. You might be able to hear the fact that I've got a scratchy throat, and this scratchy throat is just from having the heating on. So I get ill a lot, and obviously being on a vitamin D supplement, that does boost your immune system. So that has obviously helped me keep my immune system a bit boosted. So if I do get sick throughout this pregnancy, then obviously it's going to help not having to pay for prescriptions because they get expensive. When I was on antidepressants, it's £9 a prescription now. And when I was on antidepressants, having to get new antidepressants every couple of weeks, it was crazy. You know, it sounds like I'm complaining a lot, but like, obviously the NHS need funding, and if that's the way they can get their funding, brilliant. But it just, I don't want to say it's inconvenient. It's just when things are tight, like when you're expecting a baby and you're trying to save for that, then it helps to have that. But yeah, so everything went really well. I will get to talk to my midwife on the 22nd of this month, and she will give me my test results and that, and then I can book in my 12-week scan. And then after that, I'll be able to tell you guys. After I have that scan, I'll be able to tell, I'll be putting this video up. So it's all very exciting. I will say I'm very nervous about this. Obviously, I've never been pregnant before. No miscarriage or anything like that. First pregnancy, first baby. it's nerve-wracking. It is nerve-wracking, but I know I've got a good support system around me. And my family, like the members of my family that I've told, are so excited. They can't wait. But this week has been a lot. So you might have seen on Instagram, I put that Felix ended up in the vet. That was this week. He had a blocked bladder and ended up in the vet. So that put a bit of stress on me. Everything so far is fine. Everything's progressing as it should. I feel so, like, at the minute I feel fine, but 99% of the day I just feel sick. But I haven't thrown up for a few days, so I suppose that's a good thing. Okay, so the date today is the 24th of October. I had my 10-week check with my midwife 2 days ago. So it's Saturday today, I had it on Thursday. Sorry, I've got bake-off on. And so far so good. Everything is good with Chewy. It was a phone call with my midwife, just because they've reduced the amount of times you actually see your midwife because of COVID and everything, which is annoying, but hey, it's got to be done. So she's putting a few referrals in for me. So one referral is for a consultant because, as you guys know, I'm hypermobile and the pregnancy is going to affect that quite a bit. So she's put a referral in for me to consistently see a consultant throughout my pregnancy, who will then refer me for physio if they think I need it. Because obviously your joints stretch during pregnancy, and especially your pelvis stretches during labour. So it's obviously going to be difficult for me to return to normal after giving birth. So we need to weigh up risks, pros, cons for C-section versus natural birth for me. Sorry. Rather phlegmy today. Another referral she's doing for me is something called, that we have here in the UK, it's called MIMS. And it's mother and infant mental health care. Because I obviously suffer with anxiety and depression, she was worried about my risk of potentially hurting myself or the baby. Not like intentionally hurting the baby, but you know, by hurting myself I could hurt the baby. So she's put a referral in for that, so I've got that. On Tuesday I have to go and have another blood test because my iron was low, so I need to have another blood test to see if it was iron or folic, and then once they figured out which one it is, they will put me on the right supplement. So obviously the iron wouldn't surprise me. My mum is iron deficient anyway, so it wouldn't surprise me if I was too. So it's good to know. So we talked about where I would be giving birth, which is a little annoying because the hospital that I will have to go to for my consultant appointments and for like to give birth, it's not the one that's closest to me, because the one that's closest to me doesn't have a birthing unit anymore, and the one that is closest to me is still like half an hour to 45 minutes away depending on traffic. And obviously, like, me and Callum don't drive at the moment. My cousin has thankfully been like, I will drive you wherever you need to go, because she's very excited. She's going to be one of the baby's godparents. So she's very excited about this fact. But it's a little annoying that there aren't more birthing units here in the south of England. But hey, what can you do? They've had to shut some of them due to funding. We booked a private scan yesterday. I'm going to be having it at 16 weeks. But that way, Callum can actually come into the scan and see the baby on the scan. And we're also going to be able to find out the gender of the baby, which is exciting. And this same cousin is overexcited and really wants to make us a gender reveal cake. So we've said, fine, you could do that. So we're not actually going to find out the gender on the day. She's going to make the cake and I think we'll find out a couple of days later, which is going to drive us insane. But here's the thing, we're still finding out the baby's gender early, because here in the UK, you don't find out from the NHS until a minimum of 20 weeks. It's just, considering you can find out at 16, it just seems crazy to me that they wait so much longer. I suppose it's to make sure that, you know, they're 100% certain, but you can never really truly be certain with a scan, because obviously it can look wrong in the scan and it might come out completely different. I've got a scan. I'm waiting for a letter or a text to be able to book in a scan because I'm having the combined test. All my test results came back and I'm clear of everything they tested for. So they tested for celiacs, which, you know, I came back clear. They tested certain risk levels for me. The only thing I could be at risk for after I give birth is blood clots. So skip say about 20 seconds if you don't like hearing about needles and stuff. So once I give birth, I'm going to have injections into my stomach to prevent blood clots. That could change throughout the pregnancy. Like if my risk level goes up, then I'll have to start having them during the pregnancy. But for now, it's just after I give birth that I've got to have them. I've got to have 10, one every day for 10 days, which is, you know, fun. But, you know, gotta do what's best for me and Chewy. If I haven't explained it already, I might have, I can't remember. If I haven't explained it already, because we don't know the gender of the baby and we haven't settled on a boy's name yet anyway. We've settled on a girl's name, we haven't settled on a boy's name. But because we don't know what we're having yet, we're just going by Chewy. Because we're giant nerds and love Star Wars. But yeah, so I think that's all that happened this week. This is probably going to be like one of the last updates I do before this video goes out, because I'm 11 weeks pregnant on Monday. So another week or so, depending on when I feel like putting this video out, I'm going to be... You guys are actually going to be seeing this video. That's crazy. Yeah, so you guys... For me, it's still going to be like another week or so. I'm thinking about putting this out on the Wednesday. But the only problem is, obviously, I still don't have scan photos to show you, which is a little sucky. But I can't help when the scans are being booked in for, because they are only doing certain scans at certain times in certain hospitals at the moment. So it can't be helped, really. But yeah, so the next time I'm talking to you, I will probably be doing the intro and everything for this video. Okay, bye. Okay, it's Monday the 26th. Please excuse the terrible lighting. I've only got these little lights on and it's the light from my TV. But it's Monday the 26th. Today I am 11 weeks pregnant. And I can't with this cat today. I just can't. He's being so cute. So it really goes to show that animals can sense things before we can. Because if you guys know Felix, you know he's not a cuddly cat. Never has been, apart from when he was poorly. I've already checked. I know he's not poorly. I've checked his litter box. I've checked, well, I didn't check his litter box. Callum checked his litter box. But I've checked him out. He's not meowing in pain whenever I touch him. He's just being cuddly. And he never cuddles with me. Ever. He always prefers Callum. But today, he won't leave me alone. He literally, I fell asleep on the sofa and I woke up really warm and I couldn't figure out why. He was laying on top of me. So I think that just goes to something that animals can figure out pretty quickly. Something's going on. And I think in his own mind, he's protecting me and Chewy, and that's his job now. I just can't. He's too cute. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on here and say that. And like other animals in my life, like some members of my family have got dogs and stuff, and they're being so gentle with me. It's crazy. It's literally mental. It's mental, I tell you. It's crazy. And these dogs are not known for being gentle. They are hyperactive as anything and jump up you. But when I saw them when I first saw them a few weeks ago, I was like, I'm going to get jumped on. I'm going to get jumped on. Because the last time they went this long without seeing me, I got jumped on. Nothing. They came over, I sat down, then they came over and gave me a hug. And I was like, what's wrong? Don't they love me anymore? And they was like, no, they could probably sense you're pregnant. I was like, what? I think it just goes a long way in showing that animals can pick up on things. I was meant to be at work today, and I wasn't because I started getting... I have quite a physically intensive job, especially considering I'm pregnant. I clean other people's houses, but I also organise, which involves some heavy lifting and things like that, and I was getting some cramps in the top of my stomach. So I thought I'd just have the day off, rest, because I didn't want to make it any worse. And if it got worse, I was going to ring the NHS helpline or my midwife, because obviously I want to try and not go to the hospital as much as possible because of COVID. But yeah, so you guys will actually be seeing this video in about a week. It's been a roller coaster, and it's been so hard to keep this secret from everyone. But a fair amount of my family knows, but barely any of Callum's know. But Callum's not as close to his family as I am to mine. But yeah, so it should... Oh, you guys will be finding out in like a week, because I'll be 12 weeks. It's all very exciting for me. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, thumbs up, subscribe, leave me some video ideas on what I can do that you want to see from me, maybe involving the pregnancy, not involving the pregnancy. I don't mind. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see... You can see the cat in the window. All you can see is the shadow of the cat's head. Is that his head or his butt? That's his side. So leave me some video suggestions in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.